why did this girl get him over me? There are double standards. Don't hate the player, hate the game. You know what I mean? Oh, I can dress how I want and I should think, okay, honey, has that worked though? This is how to allure him. This is how to keep things going. This is how to pace the relationship. And these are just really great basic tips for beginners when you're dating and you're trying to attract the right man and you want to be taken seriously with respect. Welcome back to E-Erotic. Hi, my name is Ida Middleman, your favorite dating and sex coach here. And today I'm going to give you guys tips and tricks how to capture a man's attention. Now, some of you guys might feel like, why did this girl get him over me? You know, if you were like really into this guy and then like he just stopped talking to you and then like 2 weeks later he ends up in a relationship with somebody. Besides the obvious fact that you two just weren't it, a lot of times we go in looking at the potential of a man rather than like what he actually is. And we think, okay, like this could work, or I could make this work if I just do this and do that. And if I make him see that I'm like just so wonderful and great, that already is a no-go and will not withstand the test of time. You will see very quickly if you go in with that mindset that that guy is actually going to be turned off by you. Like he might have started off really hot and heavy. And then when you just start being like, okay, like appealing and like trying to be fun and quirky and like really doing the most, they don't like that. And the same with guys. If you go in doing the most, she might be like, ugh. It's because it's too much. It's overwhelming for people, right? At the beginning, everyone wants to feel the other person out, okay? Normal people just want to dip their toes in the water first to see if they want to take the full step, if it's the right temperature for them to take the full step. A lot of that stuff is out of your control. You can only do you and be you. However, what is in your control is doing a few of these things that keeps you interesting, that paces the beginning of the relationship. All the tips that you're going to see, especially the girls on TikTok or whatever, being like, how to make him obsessed with you. If you look at the common theme of it, it's just pacing things. It's just not going balls to the wall. It's not jumping and diving right into the pool. You know what I mean? I don't know what this pool water metaphor is for me today, like these analogies, but let's just go with it. You do not want to be always available. You wouldn't have to act this way if you actually had a life. That's the truth. That's why a lot of my dating advice ends up being get a life, fix yourself, your self-esteem issues, your insecurities, your problems, and then just do you. And then really there's nothing else that you need to be doing to date properly or date well. Sharpen the skills that you suck at and move forward, right? If you better yourself every day, you're going to become a well-rounded, more interesting, more sexy, more cool, confident person. Very simple. What's not simple is actually doing the hard work. You guys want to be kind of at the same pace at the same time. So when they're opening up and seem to be warming up, that's when you can start kind of warming up. Dating and relationships is always a tango, okay? It takes two and the man leads. Sorry, men, like that's the truth. If we're going to follow that analogy, which I believe it is, you know, that's how it works. So ladies, you do not make the first big move, first big step to hang out with him or to go on a date with him if he hasn't done that. If you're looking to attract a masculine, healthy, confident man. So if you're texting, if you met them on an app or if you met them out and you have their number and you're talking, you're not going to be like throwing out, let's go on a date. And if this guy decides to just continue texting you, he's a loser and he wants a pen pal buddy. And if you don't know what a pen pal is, you're too young. Or maybe I'm too old. I don't know. But they just have enough time to sit and text. I don't think a masculine man who like is about getting shit done, which is like what a man is, like action oriented, like follows through, like wants to make things happen. I mean, what are you doing? Like, were we just chatting? You don't have enough friends? Like, and that was my attitude when I was dating too on apps, especially. I'm not here to make friends. Like that wasn't my intention. My intention was I'm here to meet people. Meet guys, okay? And I am looking for a companion or a lifetime partner. I want to date. I've always been the dating type, even when I said that, you know, I want to be wild and free. I can't do the wild and free relationships or those things. Like it just never works out for me. So I just end up in relationships. And so I know what my intention is and I don't really want to fuck around and waste my time. So having that energy actually got a lot of attention from guys because they're like, she's not interested in just chatting. And if I'm chatting for like 3-4 weeks, I'll just stop talking after a while. You know, I'll just stop talking. If it's just, hey, how are you? Good. How are you? Talking about each other's day. And this guy's obviously not making a move. And we obviously, I feel, have some sort of connection. I'm like, okay, you're not that serious about me. So I'm not going to waste any more time. It's not about being rude. It's just about, I'm not going to waste my time. I'm going to find somebody who is down to go in that direction. If a man has asked you, what is your schedule like? Then you can tell him the 2 days that work for you. And it doesn't have to be this week. It could be either Friday this week or next week, Wednesday during the day. Like you can be as specific as that. Tell him the days that work for you. Okay. And see if A, he can work around that, and B, it gives him the impression that, okay, her time is valuable. She doesn't have much time. So what we do and how we spend it has to be intentional. That starts off a relationship in the right way. The time you spend together should be intentional. The time you spend together is important. There's weight to it. She doesn't have much time. The time that she's allotting to you is important. He feels privileged. And so he already feels like, okay, I gotta make this worth her while. Guys, when you do this, it makes you look kind of like a little bit douchey and like a piece of shit. Yes, there are double standards. And if you haven't already realized that, then you're probably losing in the dating department, and you're probably just like a grouchy little bitch, okay, in the corner, crying about how women don't give you attention. There's double standards, and the sooner you realize that and get behind them and just work with them and make them work for you, the better it is. Stop fighting things that are just what they are. And if you don't agree with them, then find someone who agrees with you on those things. Simple. Don't hate the player, hate the game. You know what I mean? Next tip, and I always say this, body language. Guys, eye contact. There is nothing sexier than eye contact. There is nothing more intriguing than eye contact, even if it makes the other person feel uncomfortable. I used to do this all the time, and I still do it when I try and talk to somebody, is I really focus on them because I really want to be in the moment. It's just a way of me like trying to be present because I'm a very like antsy person. I don't pace the room. I stare right at them. I'm not going to be doing a fucking staring contest, but I'll stare at them with intention. And especially as a woman, if you're on a date with them or if you're talking to them, it's very captivating having someone kind of have this intense look. It's not creepy, like open your eyes. It's just a straight gaze directly into their eyes, and you holding that and being able to hold that and not be nervous. It shows confidence and it turns them on. It really does. It makes them a little nervous. And if a guy gets a little nervous and has that excitement, it's a bit of an adrenaline rush, it's sexy. It's very attractive. I also think it's a respect thing. A lot of you guys, I'm sorry to say this, weren't raised fucking properly, in my opinion. Like when someone talks, you pay attention. You listen to them. Okay? You don't open your mouth till they're done, then you can speak. And when you listen, you actively listen. You nod your head, looking at their eyes. If you can't do that, we need to work on that, right? It's anxiety. You're hiding something. You're not confident. That says a lot about somebody. Their posture, their demeanor. Okay, this is etiquette 101, but whatever. We're not going to get into it. When you're eating, the spoon or fork comes to you. You don't bend over. Imagine you're like all dressed up. You look so cute. You spent so much time, and then you're like hunched over trying to eat, or you're fidgeting and you look awkward. You might as well have just rolled out of bed. Like you just look sloppy. You look sloppy. You don't look confident. You don't look clean. You don't look like a quality person. Men and women, learn the etiquette, you know? It doesn't have to be va-va-voom, like, you know, we're having fucking tea time and shit, like pinkies up. We don't have to do that. But just learn the proper ways of like being a person out in public. Clean, sharp, you know? Confident, posture, nice. It doesn't have to be intimidating, like, oh, taking up so much space, you know? How can you make yourself appealing but confident? Because a lot of you guys mix confidence with intimidating. Not like, you know, stank face and like chest out and shoulders back. Like, okay, now you look like a cunt. Like nobody wants to talk to you. Nobody wants to look at you. You look like a bitch. And that might be some guys' cup of tea. No problem. Great. Then you'll attract those types of guys. You have to understand too, the way that you come across is what you're going to attract. If you come across as trashy, you're going to attract men that want trashy. If you are, you know, dressed classy, men that will come up to you, not always, but chances are you'll filter out the trashy men, and people who are into that or are up for the challenge or are up to be on their best behavior will approach you. And I've always told this story. You know, when I was single and I used to go out to clubs and bars and whatever, like things out and about, I'd go with a fucking turtleneck. And like I didn't dress like a you know, frumpy turtleneck. It was a fitted turtleneck. You could still see the outline of my body, you know, fitted jeans, like nice. Everything was clean, you know, no rips, no tears, like a belt, a jacket, hair done, like everything sleek and clean. I looked like a clean person, you know. I looked like a person that was above the, no offense, the girl with her tits out and ass out and, you know, tears and open this and open that. Did I have stages where I wore some more like sexy, outgoing, showing some skin? Yeah. But if I do that, then I balance it with something else. I was always taught that. I was also in the fashion industry for 10 years. There is proportions. There is balance, right? If you're going to be open up top, then you better be closed down at the fucking bottom, girl, or vice versa. If you have big boobs, don't give everyone a show. Don't put it out there. Oh, I can dress how I want and I should. Like, okay, honey, has that worked though? We've been on that bullshit for so fucking long, ladies. Like, we've been on that bullshit. Men are going to think what they want. We cannot control it. But what we can do is we can take this information and use it to our advantage. That's it. Now, if you want to go out like that and you really want to have a time, there's also no harm in that. Like, I'm for it. Go girl. Like, I respect that. But keep in mind the type of guys that it might be attracting. And if you do keep in mind and you're like, I don't care, I'll just know and I will, shoo them off if that's not what I want, then great. Okay, at least you know that information. But don't reject that information. Use it to your advantage. However you want to use it, that's up to you. I'm giving you my advice that I would tell my daughter. I'm giving you the advice that I would tell my best friend if she's wondering why she's not meeting the right men and she's struggling with dating. Very important, okay? How you look, from posture to eye contact to your clothes to your motherfucking appearance. Be clean. Brush your fucking teeth. Put on a whitening strip from time to time. Check your skin out at the dermatologist. Do what you need to do. I'm sorry. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go and inject your face and do all that stuff. That's excessive, and I think that shit's going out, which is great. It's kind of funny. Like, boobs were in, then they were out. Now they're back in maybe, and then ass is in, then this is in, then lips are in, then lips are out. And there's no winning. So do what makes you feel comfortable, but don't overdo it to appeal to other people. You want someone to, at the end of the day, like you for you, right? Like, that's the goal here. And you sharpening and polishing things up by dressing a little bit better than you would at home is important to do, but that doesn't change the essence of you. Right? Sitting up doesn't change the essence of you. It actually helps promote confidence. It helps with your self-esteem, and it helps deter people that you don't want. There's a difference here between changing who you are, or a lot of guys say like catfishing and things like that. Putting on a turtleneck is not catfishing. Putting on a turtleneck is actually being like, no, nobody gets to see this unless I choose who gets to see this. You know what I mean? And I think that that's sexy. It also leaves things to the imagination. Men are very visual creatures, and you want to show something, but not all the things. And that's why something that's fitted, that is fully covered, is sexy. So people are like, oh, dress modestly so you don't, attract these creepy men. Men will be creepy if they're just creeps, period. No matter if you're dressed or not. However, a quality man will not be attracted to a girl who is out and about showing the whole world and his buddies all her goodies. He's going to be interested in the girl that's covered. He's still going to think probably little perverted thoughts, okay, and maybe picture you naked, but that excites him. I'm not sure. Is she gonna look like that? Is she gonna be like that? It's intriguing, okay? And at the beginning of dating, intrigue is super important, right? It's not an act. It's, hey, I'm gonna breadcrumb, and it's beneficial to you. It's not to reel them in so much. It's, hey, are you going to stick around, or are you the type of guy that wants to get in my pants and get out, right? Is that what you're here for? Chances are a lot of guys won't have the patience, especially nowadays, to figure someone out, because there's so many easy girls out there nowadays that they don't really have to do that. So that will, again, filter out these losers, filter out these gross boys, and you'll see who's left over. Another girl might have gotten the guy because she was also more vocal and strict about her boundaries. There is nothing like a woman that knows what she wants, okay, can state it in a way that's not bossy, bitchy, or gross. And I think this is another trend that really fucked a lot of girls up. And it's unfortunate that girls are giving other girls this type of advice, right? I've spoken to my guy friends, to my brother. So many of you girls are just horrible. Okay. And I'm not like for the boys by any means. They have their own fucking set of issues. We know that. But ladies, you're acting like a straight up bitch. Okay. And I know that people have been telling you that men love bitches. There's that book or whatever, but it's not literally. It's not to be a rude person. Who wants to be around a rude person? You think he's going to take you to meet his mama? Rude, disgusting? Like, no, fuck no. You think that being a bitch is you standing your ground. No, it's not. There's a way to be nice. There's a way to be sweet. There's a way to be a good person, to hear somebody else out, to be respectful, and to still state what you want, what you like, what you don't. If I don't like something when I was dating, I'd just be a little bit colder. Just kind of, I just reel it back in. And that distance suddenly, or a little bit of that, ooh, she's not as bubbly and giggly and whatever, all of a sudden makes a guy go, whoa. There's something switched here. What I just did, she did not like. Now, your demeanor has to change when it happens. You can't delay it. Okay. That's why it's very important for you to know what you like, what you don't like, what you're open to, what you're not open to. And even stating something like, I'm not like really a fan of that, if I'm being honest. And still being like sweet, not being like, ew, what the fuck did you just say? Or ew, what did you just do? Unless it's really disrespectful. Then at that point, if it's something that's really disrespectful to you, you get up and you leave. You don't have a discussion about it. At the beginning, you're really getting to see a polished version of who somebody is. And if you are already seeing so many faults and so many flaws and so many icks, why are you sticking around? You didn't invest time in this person, right? You don't need to stick around. Girls are taught, give them a chance or see the potential. You don't need to do that. Because what you're saying is there's a shortage of men, and this is the first person, it seems like, that has given you attention. You're on a date. You feel bad. You're not that confident woman who is okay not ending up with you because she has other options. Even if you don't have other options, guys, you have to go with that mindset. Like, you know what? I just don't think we see eye to eye on something like that, and that's really important to me. So I'm going to cut it here, and no hard feelings, like all the best. He's not going to be a fan of it because he pursuing you and didn't get what he wanted, but you're being very straight about what you want and what you don't want. Again, that's preventing you from ending up in wasteful relationships. If he asks, what do you prefer? Try and figure out what you prefer, what you want, what you like, what you don't like. And if you don't know, then explore that or ask yourself these questions, right? Work on yourself. It's part of learning about you. And we change as the years go on too. And as you date, focus on what rubs you the wrong way, what you enjoy and what you like. We go in sometimes when we go on dates with like a laundry list of things that we think we want, or we're told by like so many people online too that a man should do this, this, and this. But then you end up being like, well, that's not really for me. Flirting. Get good at flirting and be like suggestive, but not full on sexting, especially at the beginning. Be able to be flirty so we know that we're going into more than friends territory rather than just like friend territory. And you do the flirting once you guys have warmed up to each other, not after 3 days of texting. Okay. You've already gone on a date or two, and then you can start churning up the heat. You've paced yourself. You are pacing the situation, the relationship. You're showing him that you're not just going to give it up and that you're not into being all like sexy schmexy right off the bat, but you've got a little fun, a little kick, a little flavor to you. How do you do that? Turn a conversation into something funny that ends up being a little sexy with like a little sexy twist. That I found is a very healthy combination because it paces the way you guys flirt and it doesn't go, to one extreme that could turn somebody else off. This is particularly very important for men to master. Because women, I feel like, are better at pacing this stuff because they're like a little bit more hesitant and with their guard up about flirting and sexting, whereas men are just like, can I see a tit? They need to master that more so than us women. But just a good reminder for everybody who is listening, go from normal conversation into something that's a little bit more fun and playful. I said funny because that's usually my angle, but if you're not really like a humorous type of person, again, play to your strengths and to your personality. And then add that flavor and fun, and then add a little flirty twist. So if the conversation doesn't warrant a flirty message, don't send one, okay? It's better to wait those things out and to find the right place for them rather than to just throw them in there. Because then it just seems like, okay, you're really cranking up the heat out of nowhere. Does she want to fuck? Like, that's what men think. The minute you start to be suggestive in any type of way, shape, or form, they think that you're just down to fuck. Men are very black and white. If we start to understand that, then we are able to work with that again, use that to our advantage in terms of that information, kind of maintain like a steady pace. Women are the ones that decide whether or not they're down, right? So if I wanted to sleep with someone, I'd be a little bit more touchy, or I'd make like a sexy joke, or I'd bring that up. I'm the one that's prompting it, right? And I know he's going to bite because it's you who sets the pace as the woman. And it seems like a lot of work, but like you get to decide when is the time and when is not. And if a guy decides the pace for you, and if the guy starts to push those things, right away, red flag, not it, sorry, bye. A woman who is that girl, you know what I mean, really does set the pace and does it at her own time when she's ready. And normally guys are very receptive to that. Normal, like good, healthy men, obviously, they're very receptive to that. And they actually respect that more, right? You deciding when is the right time to do those things. It also takes the guessing game out of them too. And it shows that not only you're confident about knowing that, okay, you want to do this or you want to be more flirty or you want to take it to the next level, but it relieves the stress off of their backs, and it makes the interaction that you're having more enjoyable for them, because we have been keeping them on their toes, right? Sometimes they need that relief of like, okay, she's loosening up here. I feel like what I've been doing has been working. Like, it's kind of their little reward. Men need little rewards when they do things right, or when they have been doing things right. That's just a matter of showing that you appreciate what they've been doing. They love to feel that. I'm not saying you need to appeal to them, okay? I'm not saying that you need to do it all the time, especially at the beginning. You do not need to reward them for good behavior, because at the end of the day, like, they should be on their best behavior. Or like when you say thank you so much, or like when you lean in for like a kiss on the cheek, that's like boss ass move, okay? But still very feminine and sexy. And that makes him kind of giddy, like a little girl himself. So for example, my fiance, we went on a few dates, and like nothing happened. And one of the dates, I could tell at the end when I was like, oh, I have to go. And that was also, by the way, side note, like, great trick. You're the one that has to go. Okay. You're the one that's like, got to be somewhere, or it's getting late. I really should get home. Like, what a good girl. She has like a nighttime routine. She has to wake up early. Like, we love that, or like she's busy, so sexy, so hot. Okay. Got it. She's not lingering till 3, 4 a.m. in his car to have a makeout session. I know a lot of you girls do that. Like, stop doing that. Like, it's getting pathetic. Why is he able to stay up till 3, 4 a.m.? He doesn't have a job the next day. Oh, you guys are sacrificing that, being so tired. Like, grow up. That's very high school. Very high school. We're not doing that. You have somewhere to be. It's sexy. And it also shows that you're not like obsessing over him. Always leave on a high note. Don't be the last person that leaves the party, ever. That is always the saying. That is always like the smartest move. So when I was on this date with him and I was leaving, I could see he kind of was getting nervous, and I think he wanted to go in for a kiss. So he's like looking at me, he's like, bye. I'm like, bye. And I'm trying to get into my car, and he's kind of like leaning up against my car, and I'm like, so are you going to kiss me or what? And that's my personality though. Like, I like to make him sweat a little bit. I like to put him in his place sometimes, like, whatever. And so, and I knew that like, he liked that too. Obviously he wouldn't have gone on dates with me if he didn't like that kind of humor or that kind of like banter with me. And like, his eyes lit up, and, he obviously went in for it. Sometimes just calling it out, like being kind of like interruptive and like sexy and straight up can also be a fun way of like playing things up. If it's not you, don't do it. Like, don't do what I'm telling you to do. Tweak it and try and make it you, and figure out how you can do that. And last and final tip for this episode, if you guys want more of this, I'm happy to do that. Be kind. Okay. And this is going to sound like, okay, I roll. Like, yeah, of course. Okay. You told me to be nice. I'm going to be nice. I'm not going to be a bitch anymore. Be kind and make him feel seen. When he pays for things, say thank you. When he holds the door for you, like, smirk at him. Make him feel good about the things that he's doing, and make him feel seen. That also really makes you stand out as a girl sometimes. Now, not on everything, right? Like, not all the time. Don't be like, oh my God, thank you. You're so sweet. Oh my God, you're so strong. Then you're just like honestly boosting him for no fucking reason. You want to do it very subtly and not give him too much of an ego boost. Men kind of like to feel like they have something to work for, and that you're not like super duper impressed by them, but you're also like enjoying their company. So don't like boost them too much. This might be controversial for some people, but when my man, even till this day, my fiance, I'm going to randomly sprinkle. I'm always going to say thank you. Obviously, I'm very respectful, but I'm always going to sprinkle in like very masculine of you, or like very sexy of you, or like, I love when you open the door for me, or I love when you like make decisions for what we're going to have for dinner, or I love that you whatever, like, oh, you did that. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. Or like, I love when you make me coffee in bed. Just showing him that you appreciate those little things makes him want to do it more, and gives you that feminine energy. And that's very addicting to a lot of men too, right? To have that like allure of like, oh wow, she really liked that. She doesn't give out compliments all the time. So when she does, it really rings true, right? So there's a way to do that, still being respectful, saying your pleases and your thank yous. Highlight certain things that you really like. Two people need to play the part for this. So if you're struggling and you're doing all these things, you're just with the wrong person. And same goes for vice versa, guys. If you feel like you don't have that connection, or she's being disrespectful, you don't need to stick around for that either. There's a way to be respectful and let people go and allow them to do what they want. Never explain, especially at the beginning stages. Never over explain. Never, spill your guts and be like, I would really appreciate it if you did this, this, and this. Like, at the beginning, that's just such a turn off, ladies. And I find that so many women want to talk about it and like teach a guy and like explain your side. At the beginning, the first month or so, guys, you should not be doing that, okay? Because there should not be a moment where that's needed. To state, I like that, I don't like that, is one thing, and you should always be vocal about that. But to go and explain, Like, you know, I see all these girls like, yeah, but I just want to like message him, be like, it's not cool. Like, I kind of feel like you just dropped me after like this, or, you know, I just want, like, guys don't want to read a paragraph. Okay. And they don't want to hear a paragraph either. So again, the more you know, the more you can utilize it to your advantage, and you can work around it for your benefit. It's that simple. Thank you guys so much for listening and being here. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell for notifications. It really helps me out a lot and means so much. If you have any requests about future videos, if you want me to continue on this series, or if you have questions, leave them in the comments. If you want to add, ladies, do your thing. To those listening on my podcast, don't forget to rate my podcast 5 large and in charge stars. It really means so much to me. Honestly, guys, thank you so much for rating it 5 stars. It makes my fucking day. Thank you for sticking around while I'm navigating the newborn trenches with my baby. And I will see you guys back here very soon. Bye.